Hi, students in anthropology. It's part five of the lecture on language. We're in Wesch chapter four here, Wesch lesson four, and we're talking about language. The last one we ended up with Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, which we'll come back to. But for now, we're going to talk about speech variety. So in anthropology, we don't really like to talk about language versus dialect. A lot of times people will say, "Oh, that's just a dialect of English. That's not a totally separate language from English." You hear a lot, hear this a lot when you're talking about pidgins, such as the educated or Archiva people here in Papua New Guinea could speak a language that sounded almost like English, and sometimes you can understand a few words here and there, but it's different enough that people say, well, it's not really a dialect anymore. It's a language. Um, Linguists will do this, but anthropologists tend to avoid that because we like to say a language is a dialect with an army and a navy. Often the difference between dialect and language is decided for political reasons, not technical reasons. So you have people in, oh goodness, I didn't do my maps here, in France. So France has um, a a language spoken in France that people call French, but that's not actually what they speak in France. It's what they speak around Paris. So Parisian is what you speak around Paris. But because Paris is the capital and all the educated people went to school in Paris, then they brought back this Parisian to the rest of France. So you have down here in southern France, you have what they call Provençal, which was related to French, but was also related to Spanish. It's intermediate. So up in northern Spain, they also have a language that they call Catalan of Catalonia, right? It's sort of like Spanish, but it's also kind of like French. And so when people went and studied Provençal and studied Catalan, they found out that these are actually pretty much the same language, um, but because the border runs right through it, then they call everything north of the border Provençal and everything south of the border Catalan. It's the same with Norwegian and Swedish. Norway used to be a region of Sweden. This was like Michigan and this was like New York uh, or Washington, D.C., But then all of a sudden Norway gets its independence and all of a sudden you have Norwegian popping up, even though when you compare them very closely, they're so close that if you understand Swedish, you can figure out what people are saying in Norwegian. Um, so we don't really like to say this is a language, this is a dialect, because that's a political question. Um, I mean, technically, people can do it, but it's kind of a different question. Technically, what is a dialect? Anthropologists are interested in so instead of talking about registers and accents and dialects and languages as different things, we just talk about speech variety. You have a different speech variety. Um, you have linguistic diversity. So a lot of Americans say, "Oh, I only speak English. I'm not, bilingual or multilingual." That's okay. You still have language diversity. You still can avoid swearing. A lot of us, when we get around our friends, especially same-sex friends, we can get really, really raunchy very quickly talking about um, raunchy topics or using really, vulgar language. But then when someone of the opposite sex walks in the door, or when someone from a different age walks in the door, either a child or an elderly person, boom, that's gone. All of a sudden, you were about to let the F word, the F bomb drop, and you changed it to an alternative. So you have that ability to code switch, to switch from one language to another um, on the fly at the drop of a hat, and that is what we. That's also part of language diversity. Oh, the British accent. I already had your British video up there. Go back a couple times and watch that again. That's a fun one. So we all have linguistic diversity, and we're always trying to change our language depending on where we come from. So I had a friend once who had a marked accent when he was younger. He grew up in eastern Tennessee, right? So right close to the Virginia border, very very sort of backwoods accent. He talked like he was from eastern Tennessee, and he went to college in Memphis, and he went to graduate school in Arkansas, and finally his PhD in Texas. And each time he moved, he said he killed more and more of eastern Tennessee and made it more and more unplaceable. You could maybe place him in the South, you could place him in Appalachia, but you couldn't nail him down to Eastern Tennessee. He didn't sound as redneck, right? That's the fear, is that when you become a professional and people hear the way you talk, they're going to mark you as someone who is poor and uneducated. I had a friend of mine once who was working in a big office in Chicago, and he's from Ohio, and he talked about a colleague he had who was from Mississippi, who had been to an Ivy League law school, and she had her CPA. She was, really, really smart, spoke fluent French, had, spent a year abroad in France, you know, um, really, really sharp, brilliant person. He was really in awe of her because she's from Mississippi, and she has this really strong Southern accent, but she's smart. At which point I didn't reach out and whap him upside the head. Just because you have a strong Southern accent does not mean you're stupid, right? But it's marked that way. We're getting down to marked things, but first we're still talking about accents, which will appear with American vowels. So the way you get rid of that, the way you get rid of the accent, a lot of times the way that my friend could do it, who was trying to get rid of Eastern Tennessee, was through um, getting rid of common expressions, fixin' to, or wash, or whatever, these pronunciations. I'm not going to wash the dishes, I'm going to wash the dishes. And then you sound like, you're educated or whatever, which is stupid. It's terrible to look at people that way. Wash is perfectly fine, standard pronunciation of WASH. But they know the real world, and the real world is Yankees are judgmental. Um, and middle class people and upper middle class people are judgmental, and so they try to fix this. What they cannot fix are the vowels. The vowels are almost impossible to stamp out because we don't even recognize them sometimes. It just sounds right to us. And so this is from William LeBove. He's a University of Pennsylvania sociolinguist. So he's looking at the social power of language. And let's see, we've got some maps here. So when you are talking about getting sleepy, maybe in a dorm, and so you lay down on a little bed, a little mini bed, what do you call that? Think of the word, COT. And then you're chasing someone and you catch up with them, and in the past tense, that's CAUGHT. So say the first one in your head, say the second one in your head. Are they different? Are they the same? You lay down on the cot and then you caught them, right? Or you lay down on the cot and then you caught them. Is it a different ah, ah versus aw, or is it the same? So you can see here with these blue dots, it's distinct. So people from Wisconsin are going to say, oh, I laid down on the cot, but then I caught him, right? Or New York, I caught him. I caught him on the cot, right? Then it's two different words. People from Kentucky, people from Oklahoma, Kansas, people from California are going to say it's the same word. Caught. I caught him, and then I went and laid down on the cot. It's the same word. I had a situation where this is ah before n, before the nasals, dawn and fawn. I had a situation where I and other people from sort of more farther to the Midwest, or maybe more from Kentucky, were talking to people from New York, and there was someone in the office who was doing who was a secretary, and she was Donna, and then there was someone else in the same office who was Dawna, and I kept saying Donna's going to do it, and they were like, "No, I thought you said it was Donna." I said, "Yeah, Donna's going to do it." "No, no, no, not Donna, Donna." And I'm like, "Yeah, Donna." It was impossible. We couldn't communicate because every time I said Donna, meaning the one Dawna, they thought I was saying only Donna. That Donna could never be Dawna could never be pronounced Donna, and I don't see that at all. I see it as the same word, and so that is what we call a vowel. American vowels. You are stuck with these, and you'll never get rid of them. The other one is the thing you write with versus the thing you stick with, right? That is I and E before nasals, right? So Is it the same? Is it the same thing that you write with that you stick with? Do you stick someone with a pen and then you write with a pen? Or do you stick someone with a pen and then write with a pen? Sorry, stick someone with a pin and then write with a pen. And that is very distinct. Michigan, you can see they distinguish, right? The blue is distinct, and red, they merge the two. And the merger goes right through southwest Ohio, southern, right along that border. So southern Indiana it's the same word, and southern Ohio is no, they're very different. And northern Kentucky, they're still very different. So it's an interesting sort of these geographic lines are really fun to keep up with. Okay, we're up to 11 minutes. That's on to the next one.